Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that the world has changed forever. Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that the world has changed forever. Every person, everywhere now, has the ability to hear the thoughts of others. Secrets vanish in an instant, privacy dissolves, and the human mind, once the most hidden sanctuary, becomes an open book for everyone around. At first, it feels overwhelming. Walking through a crowded street would mean being bombarded with thousands of voices, each thought colliding with the next. You wouldn't just hear conversations, but the raw, unfiltered stream of human consciousness, desires, fears, lies, and truths. The impact on personal relationships would be immediate. Couples who once relied on words to express feelings would no longer need them. Love could no longer hide behind uncertain signals, because every doubt, every insecurity, and every hidden attraction would be exposed. For some, this could mean the end of misunderstandings. Imagine a world where no one could lie about their emotions. But for others, it could destroy fragile bonds, revealing thoughts best left unspoken. Secrets of betrayal, unspoken resentments, or fleeting desires could shatter families and friendships overnight. Politics would transform in ways we can hardly imagine. Leaders could no longer manipulate the public with empty promises. Every hidden agenda, every self-serving motive would be laid bare. Corruption would be nearly impossible, because the truth would constantly spill out from the minds of those in power. But would that really bring a more just society, or would it create chaos? As the darkest thoughts of individuals' thoughts they never intended to act upon were revealed to the world? Every fleeting prejudice, every angry fantasy, every shameful idea would be visible. Would we judge people for thoughts they never acted on? The justice system itself would be rewritten. Trials would no longer rely on evidence and testimony. Instead, reading the mind of a suspect could reveal guilt or innocence instantly. But what happens when a person thinks about committing a crime, but never does? Do we punish intentions or only actions? Businesses and workplaces would collapse under this new reality. Imagine job interviews where employers instantly knew your true strengths, weaknesses, and motivations. Negotiations would vanish because neither side could hide their bottom line. KI marketing would fail because consumers' real desires would already be exposed. Education could change dramatically. Teachers would instantly see whether a student truly understood a lesson or was pretending. But more than that, they would hear the creativity, curiosity, or frustration inside the minds of their students. Learning might evolve into a new, shared experience of ideas rather than words. The world of technology would also be shaken. Social media, once built on carefully crafted images and words, would collapse. Why post a status update when everyone can already sense what you're thinking? Perhaps new platforms would emerge, designed to help filter, protect, or even manipulate the flood of thoughts. Religion and spirituality would face profound challenges. Faith often relies on private belief, prayer, and inner struggles. With minds exposed, doubts and convictions would no longer be hidden. Would this bring humanity closer to spiritual truth, or would it erode the foundations of belief? On the other hand, empathy could grow stronger. By truly hearing and feeling the thoughts of others, humans might finally understand the pain and struggles of those around them. Prejudice and hate could decline, replaced by compassion born from shared mental experience. Yet the cost of constant exposure would be heavy. Imagine never having a private moment. Every guilty pleasure, every embarrassing thought, every hidden dream would be broadcast to those around you. Mental health could suffer under the constant pressure of being unable to filter what others perceive. Some might try to shield their minds, developing techniques to block or control their thoughts. Perhaps meditation or technology could help create barriers, restoring a form of privacy in a world where none exists. A new kind of mental discipline could become the most valuable skill of the future. Love itself would evolve. Romantic relationships, once built on mystery and discovery, would shift into something raw and transparent. Some couples might thrive in this honesty, while others might crumble when faced with the reality of unfiltered attraction and doubt. Friendships, too, would be redefined. Would we still want to spend time with people once we knew every hidden judgment they had about us? Or would true friendship become stronger, built on complete acceptance of another person's mind, flaws and all? The economy might reinvent itself around this new reality. Professions like therapy could change completely. with counselors instantly hearing the inner voices of their patients. Writers and artists might struggle, since imagination itself would no longer be private. Perhaps art would flourish, becoming a new way to filter and express collective thoughts. War and conflict would also be transformed, and soldiers would no longer be able to hide strategies or intentions. Diplomacy would become brutally honest. But would that make peace more likely, or simply lead to faster, more efficient destruction when enemies knew exactly what the other side was planning? In science, mind reading could revolutionize collaboration. Researchers would share ideas instantly, bypassing language and misunderstanding. Human progress might accelerate at a pace never seen before, fueled by a true meeting of minds. Yet the biggest question remains: would humanity survive the loss of privacy? Our individuality is built on the idea that some parts of us belong only to ourselves. Without that boundary, would we still feel human, or would we dissolve into a collective mind, a hive of shared thoughts? Over time, society might adapt. Perhaps we would learn to accept each other fully, embracing the flaws and shadows in every mind. Or perhaps we would fragment, with groups forming based on mental compatibility, leaving those who think differently isolated and rejected. Children born into this world might never understand what it meant to be private. To them, the open mind would be natural. They could grow up more empathetic, more cooperative, and more honest than any generation before. But for those who remember the old world, the silence of the private mind would be a lost treasure. They might long for the days when thoughts were theirs alone, when imagination was secret, and when the most intimate part of being human was hidden behind the eyes. In the end, the power to read minds could either elevate humanity to new heights of understanding or tear it apart under the weight of unbearable truth. The human mind is a fragile, complex space, and perhaps its greatest strength lies not in what we share, but in what we choose to keep hidden. So ask yourself, if tomorrow you could read the thoughts of everyone around you, would it be a gift or a curse? And if that curse became too heavy, would humans develop an instinct to filter their minds the way we evolved language to filter communication? Perhaps evolution itself would adapt, creating a balance between openness and privacy. New cultures could rise, built not on words or traditions, but on shared consciousness. Nations might disappear, replaced by networks of minds connected through honesty and thought. Humanity could transform into something beyond recognition. But there is also danger in uniformity. If minds blend too deeply, individuality could fade. Creativity might decline as unique perspectives dissolve into a collective voice. The world could become efficient but soulless. On the other hand, some might rebel against this mental transparency, fighting to preserve the last fragments of privacy. They might build underground societies where minds are shielded, choosing isolation over constant exposure. Perhaps the true destiny of humanity lies not in choosing one path, but in balancing both, sharing enough to grow together, while protecting enough to remain unique. After all, what makes us human may not be the ability to reveal everything, but the wisdom to decide what to keep hidden.